This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. With me right now is Denis Corin from Q BioMed. The symbol is QBIO. Denis, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me, Robert. Good to be back.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. So, for those who may have missed our first interview, let's get an overview of the company first, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Q BioMed is a biotech acceleration and development company. And what that means basically is we're looking for and acquiring and licensing innovative biotechnology assets that are out there in academia or small private companies, structuring license deals and bringing them into Q BioMed, which is obviously a publicly held company that's acquiring what we think are sort of undervalued assets in the biotechnology space.
Okay, so the last time we spoke with you was in February. What's been going on in the company since our last conversation?
Sure. So, the company's still a young company. We started in essentially August of last year. In October, we did our first asset acquisition deal, which is a glaucoma asset out of Northwestern University in Chicago. Development has been going really well on that. We've seen some drug candidates come back from our technology partners and our CRO partners. So we're very pleased with the development there, and everything's going, on schedule and on budget. So that's great. I think very importantly, yesterday we announced a new asset deal. We signed a definitive agreement with a private company in the US. This is for a revenue-ready, FDA-approved drug, so this is a major step for us and really bookends our strategy of having a pipeline of assets from early blue sky assets all the way through to revenue-ready or revenue-generating assets. So we have two terrific assets in the portfolio now. We'll hope to close that formally before the end of this month, and then build maybe one more in before the end of the year, so we'll have a nice spectrum of assets. But the revenue-generating one, I think, is a key differentiator for us, and we expect to be able to generate revenue out of this asset within the first year of closing, so we're really excited about it.
Cool. Let's go into it a little bit more, actually. So what exactly is the company selling? Let's go into that.
Sure. So, we announced a definitive agreement, but we haven't formally closed yet, so I can't go into too much detail. Suffice to say that this is a generic drug. The market, it's a decent-sized market. We'll provide revenue, obviously, for the company. We also believe there's some significant upside in blue sky and our ability to perhaps expand the labeling on this product, do some comparative phase 4 studies, and move into a much larger therapeutic area. So we think there's tremendous opportunity that goes along with the revenue that comes with this in the near term.
So you talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of get into it a little bit more again about the differentiating factor. There's quite a few companies that are doing similar structures to what you guys are doing, but I want to know what differentiates your company. Is it the management teams? Is it your selection process of the assets you want to acquire? Tell me about that.
Sure. I think there are a number of factors. In biotechnology, often you find investors look at a product or a company that's got an innovative or a great asset that's maybe blue sky, but it's a single kind of one-trick pony, if you like. And once they've invested in that, not to be derogatory, but often it's dead money. You're sitting waiting for a binary event like an FDA approval, and that could be years and years away. And we've seen companies sort of struggle through that development pipeline and the timing that takes. And what we want to do is offer investors the opportunity to invest in a company with a basket of goods that have multiple assets in multiple stages of development. So there's always something interesting and innovative going on in in our news flow and keeps the investing public interested, but also continually creating value as we go. So I think that differentiates us. It helps mitigate some of the risk for the investor because we'll have multiple products. It shares the successes amongst our portfolio companies or our partners, so as one succeeds, everybody succeeds. So I think that differentiates us a little bit. And, having now announced the possibility of a revenue-generating asset, I think that puts us in a very different place in the biotech sector. A lot of these companies are long-term, non-revenue-generating, money eaters, and we hope this differentiates us one step further as well.
I have a kind of outside-of-the-box question, actually. How do you market the companies that are in your portfolio, or the assets in your portfolio, to the investors? For instance, when we do interviews with one biotech company, it's sometimes very complicated stuff to understand. So from your perspective, how are you getting those messages out there?
Well, I think the key with talking to investors, particularly in biotech, is you've got to keep your message simple. and sort of communicate, just the bare bones of it. If there are technical investors or analysts that need to know, we can plug in, really significantly qualified people to answer those questions, or from our technology partners. But we just try and keep the message simple. Glaucoma is something that's easy to understand. There's 60 million people going blind in the world today, and we have a drug now that we think treats the underlying cause of intraocular eye pressure, so the root cause of glaucoma. And we try and keep that simple and just get that message out there. It's a huge market. Investors want to know, where's that going? What's the market potential for this? That's a massive blue sky project. Some of the competitor drugs that have gotten to phase 1 or phase 2 and then gone public have market caps of 200 million. So, they see a lot of blue sky in that potential for us. But that's also just blue sky for now. And we want to communicate that we're not just, that one blue sky company. We have other assets that we're bringing in, and one of those is potentially revenue generating in the very near term. So that gives them something else to think about, and everybody understands money. So if you're going to be making money, that's a good thing.
I want to ask you, from what you can tell me, moving forward, just like we did in February, what are some of the near-term goals and milestones for the company?
Well, having just announced this asset, we want to see this asset acquisition license deal close formally towards the end of the month, and then move it through its milestones. So there's some fairly short-term milestones in terms of, getting some deals in place to actually acquire raw materials for the manufacturing contracts, and then having the drug formally ready, in a vial, ready to be sold. So we think those are some near-term milestones. Over the next 6 to 9 months, we should see some decent milestones come out of that I think will excite the investing public or our shareholders. And then our Mannan asset as well is going to be hitting some milestones in terms of preclinical work and having drug ready to start preclinical trials early next year.
And where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
Sure, we'd encourage people to go to Q BioMed. That's www.biomed.com. Check out our website. Please sign up for our updates and our newsletters. We'd love to keep in touch with you.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. With me again has been Denis, Corin from Q BioMed. The symbol is QBIO. As always, thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Nice to see you.